there's an old adage with relation to men and women that says belly full, balls empty. When it comes to women keeping men happy in the relationship, they simplify it. Of course, there are more parts to it, but this is how they simplify it. Belly full, meaning well fed. Keep the man fed with 2 or 3 meals a day. He's working hard, keep him fed. Balls empty. Keep the sex regular. We all know that men, married men in particular, complain often about the sex being cut out. It's not everybody, but this is a complaint that we often hear. So belly full, balls empty. Here is the issue with that. While it may seem that it's great, the man is always, he's well fed and he has the sex all the time. When you are well fed, you're full, you're content, you're relaxed. Balls empty, you're docile. You don't have anything in you, you're docile. How does a man react after sexual intercourse, after physical intimacy with his woman? How does he react? The issue here is that when your stomach is empty, so essentially what I want to say is the key to the vitality, the male for superiority in this particular case, and the way that we're looking at this is, for me, stomach empty, balls full. Because scientifically, when your stomach is empty, there are many things that take place. As a person, as a nutritional consultant, when your stomach is empty, you may feel those hunger pains, but what's taking place, you're hungry, right? But what's taking place is something higher than that. And what's taking place is the body is being cleansed. This is why getting rest is important. So I'm going to jump back between the physical and the metaphorical. Okay? So just so that we understand that. So on the cleansing level, in a physical sense, the body cleanses itself when you're not eating, right? You're hungry. You hear those noises. When you hear the noise, right? The ghrelin is activated, and now the body's about to start burning fat. It's about to move into burning fat because it's starting to run out of the sugar. You cleanse, number one. This is what can happen when your stomach is empty. Number two, as a man, hormones start to function better, crispy, as we say. Your testosterone goes up. Your growth hormone goes up. So it may be looked at as bad. You may think that you're hungry. Most people are usually thirsty. They're not hungry. I can say that because I did 16 days on water. But what happens is there's a greater thing that's taking place when your stomach is empty. This is why they call it breaking the fast, because when you are resting, you are not eating, and therefore you are fasting. And so the body makes most of its repairs when you're asleep, aka when you're fasting, because you're sleeping and you're not eating, therefore you are fasting. And so to eat after you wake up, the first meal is breaking a fast for most people. Now I break my fast later during the day, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock p.m. That's neither here nor there. I have to try to keep this video to 18, 20 minutes. Because I can go on and on. I'm passionate about this subject. So we're going to keep it as short as we possibly can. I got some notes. When you don't have anything in your stomach, you're hungry. And what that does is, metaphorically speaking, that keeps you on the hunt. That keeps you hungry. Now you got to go hunt your food. That keeps you active. That makes you focus. Whereas the reverse is the stomach is full. You relaxing. You're content. You're not on your square. You're not locked in. Now, that doesn't mean that you should always be locked in 24/7. But the point is that you're constantly striving for more when you're hungry. And a man should always be striving for more. Number one, to improve himself, the state of himself, also those around him. And if you're always content, you're relaxed, you're not going to do that. You're not going to be in warrior mode. You're not going to be in apex predator mode. And so you're on a search for food, because the comfort, when you're comfortable, is like, I got everything that I need. I'm good. When your balls are empty, you are very docile. And I've gone over this with men about, constantly ejaculating all the time, skeeting to the moon all the time, having nothing left in the tank, in the testicles, all the time. You're drained, essentially. So you're low on testosterone. Those Leydig cells in the gonads, you're drained. For the sperm cycle to renew itself, you need 70 days. So guys that are constantly ejaculate, guys that are constantly doing that are making themselves weaker. This is why they would say, athletes, hold your seed. Hold the seed, because the seed, it is your power. So when you ejaculate, you're sending a signal. First of all, we know that the intercourse between two people, a man and a woman, is for procreation. So once a man ejaculates, that's basically saying, hey, your job is finished. And so the body is going to relax. And a man feels, you know how you feel when you ejaculate. You're not at your best. That's when you're your most weakest. So if you're doing this every day, a couple of times a day, like many men do, that's not benefiting you. So your balls are empty. You're not on your game. That testosterone is not going to be up. No pun intended. So when your testicles are full, you have so much testosterone. In the word testicles is the word, in the word testosterone and testicles is the word TEST, ironically. And so you can withstand test. But my point with this is very simple. You're on a mission here. And if you're always full and you're always empty, meaning stomach full, balls empty, you're not going to get a lot done. You're not going to be at your highest level. Now, take the message for what the message is. This does not mean that you shouldn't eat well. This does not mean that you should not have a healthy sex life. What this means is that when you are hungry, metaphorically speaking, I'm hungry. I want to accomplish my goals. When you are hungry is when you're at your best. When you have accomplished your goals, that's when you relax. That's why a man must always be on a mission, have a higher purpose. This is the point of having a purpose. This is the point of having a mission. But if you full up, if you got every material thing that you want, if you got all the money in the world, and if there's no higher purpose, what are you going to strive for? So you are essentially relaxed, because there's no reason to hunt. And so when you're not hunting, you become the hunted. You're off your square. Balls empty, or in this case, we want balls full, meaning you don't have to waste your seed all of the time. You want to preserve your seed. You can still be intimate, but you want to preserve your seed. And when I say belly empty, I'm not saying not to eat and be healthy. What I'm saying is I usually do one solid meal per day. And so that means that the constant eating We've already been down this road, or at least I have with my nutrition clients. Each time you eat, insulin regulates fat storage. So insulin is going to be released. So if you're eating 4 and 5, 6 times a day, and this is for the general populace, this is not for bodybuilders. When you're eating 5 and 6 times a day, each time you snack, insulin goes up. And if you're not burning, if you're not training, if the diet ain't the best, it's going to get stored because insulin regulates fat storage. So all that food is going to sit on the body. And most of it's toxic. Most of it's processed. So it's going to sit on the body, right? And usually sits in the midsection. Usually. But my point is, when I say empty, right, belly empty, you don't need more than 1 to 1.5 meals per day. You don't need to be a glutton. You're going to become weaker that way. You become weaker if you're always eating. Because why? Physically, literally speaking, the body is going to have to do more work. This is why people, they eat and they go to sleep, because there's too much energy being used to digest the food. So the body, because of the way that the people eat, most of the food that people eat, the body has to shut you down in order to process all of the garbage that you have consumed. Does a car stop when you put gas in it? Remember, food is fuel. So the question is, does a car stop? No, the car does not stop. The car goes further. That's the purpose of pulling over to the road and putting gas in it. But with the way that the lifestyle is set up for most people, 3, 4, 5 times a day, you're eating too much. So the body has to shut you down. This is why fasting is almost, if not more important than the eating, because in the fasting, aka empty stomach, you can make the repairs, aka continue to grow, continue to be focused. You're going to maintain your hunger with the less that you eat. You're going to be well fed, but you still, no, here's the thing. They're overfed and poorly nourished. So what I'm suggesting when I say stomach empty is you're going to get the more nutrient density per calorie. So you're going to focus more on quality and not quantity. Because you can eat 50 hot dogs and you can be full, but that's not the best way to become full. There's more nutrients or nutrient density per calorie. You can eat a smaller meal, you're going to get full and you're going to get more nutrition. So this is the point. Do not allow yourself to become complacent with your belly full because you have eaten so much, because you will lose your drive. Do not allow your balls to be empty. You need your balls full. Learn and understand the power of semen retention. You can engage in intercourse every day if you want to, but you don't have to ejaculate every day. Guys are skeeting to the moon every day, sinking deep and ejaculating every day, multiple times. Then you have this porn stuff, or corn as they call it. You can't say the P word, right? So understand, you are usually in tip-top shape when you're not eating as much. So my recommendations: 1 solid meal per day, or 1.5, depending upon the way you work, but most people don't need more than 1.5. Lean and strong is the way. So I'm suggesting less is more in this case. Less is more. You're going to stay ripped. You're going to be in top shape. Hopefully you got a good exercise program. Belly empty. But if you're walking around as a glutton, you're eating so much, not going to work. And that's what I see in many men. They don't have that drive. They don't have that drive because they're so sluggish because of the way that they live, their diet. It's harming them. And in addition to that, what they're consuming, because consumption is not just the food that you're eating. Consumption is what you listen to. Consumption are the people that you're around. They're drained. In addition to the frequent ejaculation. So now you don't have that testosterone is not working for you. That drive is not working. Energy is low because of what you're consuming. You're over consuming. You're overly fed but poorly nourished. And then you have nothing in the sack. Nothing. Your way to superiority as a man. And if you're a woman, show your man this video. If you're a mother, show your son this video. Is you need to be able to control your ability, the way that you look at sex. You have to control yourself. The ejaculate is for procreation. The more you hold the ejaculate, you have to understand it's a seed. So it can bring a life into this world. But if you hold it, it can bring life to your world, to everything that you want, because that's energy that's going to everything that you want. That's the part that I want you to understand. So, for me, the equation for a man to become extremely powerful and maintain himself is not to be controlled by these things that most people can't control. Overeating, you're over-sexualized. You're sexually depleted. Constantly releasing testosterone, constantly ejaculating, constantly releasing zinc, constantly releasing selenium in the ejaculate. 3 to 5 milligrams of zinc each time you ejaculate. And you're not putting that back in because your diet shows you're not putting it back in, because you're getting BPH, you're getting these prostate issues, and then you're sitting down, you're not even active. So you want the power? The psychology is the less that I eat, within reason, right? My body is a perfect computer. And remember, no, this is the most important computer because you have a computer on your shoulders right here. But your body is a computer. It knows how to, you don't have to tell your body to repair or do this. So by eating less, by empty stomach, metaphorically speaking, not actually not eating anything, but an empty stomach and full balls, aka testicles, aka gonads, is what's going to make you powerful. Because now you can take your energy, and your energy is not wasted on releasing all the time sex, because you're not trying to procreate each time out. You're not trying to. The energy can be preserved and doesn't have to be spent on digestion. Because when the energy is not spent on digestion from your 4 and 5 and 6 meals a day, then you're drinking and smoking and sniffing. When your energy is preserved, now your energy can make repairs. Oh, so-and-so has this going on in the body. Let's make the repair because I don't have to spend the energy to digest. And then you're eating all this sugar. You got sugar, too much salt, way too much animal protein. So everything is in excess. Abuse is what causes problems. The ancestors before were not doing all of that. They were not concerned, and they were working more physical. They needed more food because things were more physical labor. They lived laborious lives, men and women. So that's why Granddad had 20 kids. Granddad's testosterone was so much more higher. He wasn't sitting around jacking off. Granddad had purpose. He was doing things. He had to take care of his family. He had to take care of his family. And the food that he ate was much more natural. That's a different story. But this is the psychology of becoming a powerful man. Because you've got a big responsibility. You're going to bring in children if that's what you want to do. You got your woman if that's what you want to, if you're on that. You need to be a contributing member to society. You want to be a leader. So you sitting up being out of shape, being overweight, being drained sexually, you will be crushed. You will be ran over. You will be ran over. You will be in last place. You may make a few dollars. You might be able to, attract some women because of a couple of dollars, but you'll just get used. You'll be used. You want to become a physical specimen. You want to be a mental specimen, a spiritual specimen. So the goal here is preserve the energy so that the energy can go to the things that they need to go to. Empty stomach, full testicles. That's the equation.